Good day and welcome back to another Dbz Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the performance of the physical Radditz unit in the Pure Saiyans Esbr. Now Pure Saiyans Esbr is one of the hardest Esbr in the game and it hits very hard. The units here hit comparably to red zone units, so it's a very tough time. Now this is a 55% Radditz, but we can see straight off the bat he has 188,000 defense, which is currently the best in rotation, but is not enough to tank normals at type neutral with the enemy. However, we will pop a Whis, and then we'll get a very good idea of how well he does. He will activate his crit, which is fantastic. And overall he has a pretty nice setup here. Obviously Turles is a great pairing partner for him, giving him defense and attack as well. 2 million attack stat, not too bad, but guaranteed criticals and AoE as well means that overall it's pretty good. Now with that attack he greatly raised his defense over the 200 mark, and you can see he took 139,000 with an item active. Overall a more than fine first turn actually. 55% with an item to be able to tank a type neutral super attack is pretty good. 139k, it seems like a lot of damage, but it's not too bad considering the strength of the team and the fact that he's a 200% lead. Plus, not to mention that he did nice AoE damage with the crit, and overall did a pretty stellar job. Obviously, you look at the LR Broly and you think, wow, why does Radditz not do as much damage as that guy? Well, if you have a couple dupes in Radditz, like I have in my LR Broly, who has 2, you wouldn't see exactly the same damage, but you'd see some pretty comparable damage. 2 dupes in Radditz would push him a lot closer to the 3 mil mark, which is very good. Plus you'd have the ability to additional, which I think is the best build for Radditz. So, yeah, you could have hit 2-3 mil crits, would have been really solid. So Radditz overall, did pretty well. Obviously, just to recap his passive, he has attack and defense of 150%, plus an additional attack and defense of 150% when performing a super attack, if facing only one enemy, and if that enemy is HP is 50% or less when the character performs a super attack, he'll have additional attack of 100%, and he'll also have a high chance of performing a crit. He also has an active skill that greatly raises attack temporarily, which we'll be using now to finish off Goten. He also will perform a critical hit within the same turn after receiving an attack, plus have an additional defense of 150% when facing 2 or more enemies. If he gets the killing blow, he'll have a 2+ key. I feel like the 2+ key could have been replaced, and they could have given him something like, if he delivers the killing blow, he regenerates health, or he becomes stronger, or something along those lines. Even just 30% attack and defense. He doesn't need the key. He really doesn't need the key, like, at all. Generally speaking, it's pretty manageable to get him good key and to get him good results. So for the most part you don't actually need the key, but I mean at the same time I guess it doesn't really matter too much. But it would have been nice if they'd replace that with something else. A heal, 30% attack and defense, anything really would have been slightly better, I feel. But overall it was a pretty good time. Everything went perfectly fine, everything went pretty well, and as you can see, Radditz's active skill does come in handy when you have an enemy that's low on health. It's always great to be able to finish them off without any risk of using an item or taking a turn or taking damage or anything like that. So Radditz's active skill coming in clutch, and a pretty good first battle from Radditz. So here, what we have is we've obviously got Radditz on rotation again with Turles. Very similar defense to last time, of course, no real change in that. Was thinking of linking him up with Mark's Saiyan, but decided against it. Thought we might as well just take a look at good old Radditz. What we're going to be doing here is we'll activate an item once more, just so we can get a little bit of a longer look at Radditz, and then we'll be able to kind of assess where we go next. But yes, pretty much just want to take another little look at Radditz, and then yeah, we'll be able to get a good idea of how well he's going to do. Damage wise, 239,000 on this one, not too bad overall. Still tanking super attacks. Obviously with an item, without one we'd be taking quite a lot of damage, but again we come with the crit AoEs, which should deal some pretty decent damage. As you can see, doing pretty decent damage overall. So yeah, I think it's pretty solid from Radditz so far. Like, Radditz is at 55%, he has almost 200k defense. A lot of people rave about Turles' EZA, which they should, because it is very, very good. But Turles sits at a lower defensive amount. Obviously he's providing support, which does buff Radditz, but I'm more trying to point out that I feel like Radditz is still usable in a lot of content, especially SBR, ESBR. He's going to be great there. I think as a floater, he's fine for red zone. That multiplicative 50% attack and defense does really help out in red zone, like a lot. And generally speaking, like, it's really not so bad. Like when he's able to do that, obviously certain bosses that AoE are going to give him problems. And at 55%, very few units can take on the red zone anyway. Have you ever tried to use the 7th year LRs at 55%? They tend to take a little bit of a beating. So generally speaking, I think for the most part, Radditz does pretty well. And I'm pretty impressed with Radditz overall. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to let him tank a normal. Basically, it's going to be type disadvantage, so no items, no nothing, no anything. It's definitely not enough defense, but a lot of units will take a lot of damage on type disadvantage attacks. And you can see that, 189,000, definitely a lot of damage. But with that being said, overall, not so bad by Radditz. I think everything went more than fine. And I think he does a really good job in ESBR. So that's going to be it for me. Let me know your thoughts. Have you tried Radditz? Did you summon for Radditz? And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye.